Hello, and welcome to this week's episode of Bolt Action Reloading. In this week's episode, we're going to show you how to regain velocity and accuracy with our match load using our worn-out Ruger Precision Rifle barrel. Stick around. Welcome back to the channel. If this is your first time here and you'd like to see how I and the rest of the community here make our group smaller, start now by subscribing to the channel and hitting the bell icon. That way you get notified when I post new videos and you won't miss anything. If you've been watching our channel for a while, you're going to be aware that we've been looking at rebarreling our well-used Ruger Precision Rifle barrel. The basics of this is that the distance to the lands has increased in our rifle by between 30 and 40 thousandths depending on the projectile, and we really need to revalidate where our accuracy nodes are and are not, and to see if we need to adjust anything. A couple weeks ago, we were testing the overall length in our 147 ELD-M, and that we had found that some very good accuracy if we moved our bullets closer to the lands. Our previous cartridge overall length that we were loading for our match load here was very close to 2.852 inches. One of the best performing projectiles in this rifle has been what we're testing today, the Hornady 140 grain ELD-M, part number 26331. As you can see, this combination we're utilizing H4350. It's been certainly one of the best performers for low SD. Even though this is not our highest velocity node, it sure is a well-performing load in our rifle. When we did our initial development to find this load, we ended up with a cartridge overall length of 2.852 inches. The distance to the lands at that point in time was almost exactly 30 thousandths. Now, for today's testing, we've done some measurements and found that we've basically gained around 30 thousandths with this projectile, and to maintain the ability to use this in our AICS magazines, we're going to be taking that to 2.880 inches, the maximum cartridge overall length that we can actually feed in our magazines. The cartridge overall length to the lands for this combination is currently 2.910 inches, so basically we're right on maintaining that 30 thousandths jump that we have tested previously. Aside from changing the cartridge overall length, since we're changing our cartridge overall length, besides the velocity we've lost in our load, we need to make sure we get our velocity nodes exactly where they were before or as close as possible without hitting pressure. As our barrel has aged, this combination has lost a little bit of velocity, and today we're making up for that in two factors. Originally, this was worked up in Hornady brass, but today we're using Peterson, which has a very slightly smaller case volume. Testing we've worked up with this brass before has yielded us our CCI-41 as our best primer. That has previously given us some very, very good statistics, and so we're going to be using it today to tune this load to make sure we can get right back where we were before, or at least try as best we can. Our normal load, we were shooting 41.3 grains. To make sure we cover our full range today, we're going to be loading in 0.2 grain increments, starting 41.1 grains of H4350, going all the way to 41.9 grains in 0.2 grain increments. Our primer today, like I said, is the CCI-41. A couple of reasons that we're using this. Number one, when we did our primer test, which if you hang out to the end, I'll put a link at the end of the video. This primer actually gave us some of the best SDs and ESs out of all the combinations that were tested. The second reason is by using the small rifle primer brass. With small rifle primers, we've had problems with lighter cut primers actually puncturing when we have a slightly higher pressure load, though I still don't consider this to be an overpressure load. But with a softer primer, like a Remington 7.5 for example, we have a lot more cratering, and that's just not what we want. If we can get a very good performing primer, which this has been, as well as not having to worry about any primer cratering, that is what we're going to be choosing, and why we chose it today. The biggest downside of today's actual test is honestly our cartridge overall length. I usually like to leave a little bit of room for error in our loads, but trying to maintain that overall distance, we are pushing to that max 2.880 that our AICS magazine can handle. If we can't find good accuracy with today's testing, we're going to have to either use a magazine that can accommodate a longer round or single feed our rounds. But it's up to you to decide how you need to proceed and how it applies to your rifle. Previously, we were able to use 41.3 grains with our CCI-41 many hundreds of rounds ago to achieve a velocity of 2644 feet per second, ESs in the low teens, if not single digits, so we have some very high expectations to meet today. And if we can't get the performance we need, it's just going to make us all that more confident. Getting our new barrel installed is just imperative. So guys, the only way to find out if this works is get out to the range and test it. So let's go out to the range, we'll shoot these rounds real quick, come back, evaluate our results, and see where we go from here. Welcome back, everyone. I hope you enjoyed the range footed. I know I was excited to see and measure some of these groups. So starting at 41.1 grains of H4350, our average velocity was 2616 feet per second. Our standard deviation was 5.1, extreme spread of 14, and our first group of the day was a .773 MOA. Going to 41.3 grains, our previous match grade low where we would have got 2644 feet per second, we were down to 2630 feet per second, standard deviation of 10, extreme spread of 26, a 4-shot group of .112 MOA, and a 5-shot group of .4 MOA. Certainly was hoping to put all 5 bullets in that hole, but 4 is not too bad. At 41.5 grains, our velocity went up to 2645 feet per second. Standard deviation dropped to 3 with an extreme spread of 7 and a .526 MOA group. At 41.7 grains, 2656 feet per second was the velocity we achieved. Standard deviation of 8.1, extreme spread of 19, and a .677 MOA group. Moving up to our max charge of the day at 41.9 grains, our average velocity reached 2672 feet per second, standard deviation of 9, extreme spread of 20, and a .514 MOA group. So it looks like pushing our bullet a little closer to lands and redoing our node testing. It seems if we move out to 41.5 grains, we get our half MOA load and extreme spread of 7 right back just like we tested before. Our group at 41.3 grains sure looks tempting, but honestly, you can disagree with me, but 41.5 grains is where I would load simply because of the extreme spread and velocity was right where we found our sweet spot before. That 2640 feet per second is right where this rifle likes to shoot, and keeping our groups at a half MOA, I'm going to take that load all day long. And honestly, if we were going to a match tomorrow, that's probably what I would load. Keeping with our usual theme, we're going to go to our 6.5 guys chart just because I like the graph. No real shockers here as far as the statistics are concerned today. Our 41.5 grains load is lit up green because of the wonderful extreme spread and standard deviation we saw at that charge. 2645 feet per second was right close to the 2644 that we expected to shoot. Last time we shot this, we were looking at, again, single-digit extreme spreads, and that's exactly what we got today. We would certainly have liked to seen our smallest group at that charge weight, but I'm not going to complain about the statistics or the group size at a half MOA. Looking at our graph a little bit, it'll see that it appears at that 41.3 grain load, the first shot of that group actually being 2613 is what drug our velocity down a little bit. Otherwise, you can see we're at the bottom of that node. Everything else was trying to shoot just a little bit higher, very close to that 41.5 grain charge. So if we were to build a proper plateau graph on this, it looks like 41.3 is right on the edge of that lower node. 41.5 is right in the middle of it. And as we bump up a little bit, obviously we're reaching the higher side of that node. The picture the chart plays in this particular week's graph is exactly what the statistics showed us. That 41.5 grains is exactly where I wanted to load. But if you guys have a different opinion, by all means, put it in the comments section below. Because I know someone will be interested, we'll put a shot of the brass on the screen so you guys can look at the pressure signs. The CCI-41 hardcut primer, you're going to see we really don't have any primer cratering to speak of here. Again, one of the reasons why we use this primer overall. No other pressure signs to be concerned with. This is something we've shot in our rifle before, and we're really not concerned with it. Just for reference, you guys can take a look at the brass and decide whatever you like. So guys, it looks like it's not completely imperative we have this barrel ripped off tomorrow. A half MOA, single-digit extreme spreads, certainly not a bad way to go. 2640 feet per second is not the highest velocity we've gotten this 140 grain ELD-M to go, but it is one of our most consistent loads, one of the easiest to get repeatable results with good groups, and it's all our tests showed today. If you guys have any more concerns or questions, please put those in the comments section below. Even if you're not reloading for a worn out rifle, I hope you enjoyed today's video. If you have any comments or questions, please feel free to put those in the comments section below. If you like the content here on the channel, please hit that subscribe button, turn the bell notification on so you get notified when I post next week's video. I hope to see you back next week. And until then, stay safe in small groups.